Good morning, good people. I think this is really by way of a response to one of Match's 860's videos, and I can't remember which one, but something in that thread anyway, we were talking about, I mentioned about the fact that, it was about how you light your pipes, I think. And I use Swan matches, not all the time, but the reason for that is that Swan matches was what my dad always used. So every time I pick up a box of Swan matches and I strike one, and you get that slight sulphur smell off the match, and you allow that to burn off before you put it on the tobacco, there's something about that that just reminds me. I can see him in the old house that I grew up in, or in the workshop or wherever it was, and him stopping and having a break and lighting up his pipe. Unfortunately, I don't have any of his pipes. He did gift them to me years ago when I was in London. So actually I did smoke a pipe a little bit back then for a while, but I kept his pipes, and then I gifted them on to my eldest son. And he's moved a lot. He's moved about all over the place. He's currently in Taiwan. And I don't know what happened to them. Now, we are in the process of moving. By some miracle, maybe some of those old pipes will turn up. And it would be great if they did, because there are some lovely old Petersons in there. Probably some old Dunhills or whatever. They were good quality, excuse me, good quality pipes. I know that, knowing my dad, good quality pipes. Anyway, so he used to light his pipe with Swan matches. Never in my life did I ever see him use a lighter, ever. He might take a hot stick out of the wood fire and light a pipe, but it was always matches. And I just don't ever remember anybody having a lighter. The only lighters I ever saw were those coffee table lighters, the onyx ones with some hideous coloured bit of marble with the lighter set in the top. Anyway, I digress. So, Swan matches. Matches 860. Swan matches, when I've got time and if I'm inside, I can use the matches. But my go-to, I guess, is your good old Vic with the pipe insert. Sorry, your good old Zippo. And the thing about the Zippo is that when I was smoking cigarettes years ago, people used Zippo lighters and did all those tricks where they roll it down their leg and strike it and all that, flicking the lid and all that kind of stuff, which I'm not into. It's a bit like, what do you call it, a balisson, a knife. You can do all those wonderful tricks. I admire anyone who can do that. Awesome, but I can't. I just use it as it is, sort of thing. Anyway, I'm going off the subject again. So, Zippo lighter or your good old cheap and cheerful Bic lighter. But I thought I'd mention my other little tool is this, which is a beautiful little nickel silver smoking knife made in Sheffield in England. I've got a couple of these which I bought. They were kind of antiques. Come on, Mooks, come on. And I basically refurbed them and sharpened them and everything like that, and they are wonderful tools. Sorry, I've got a little mate come up here, and I love them because they have the tamper on the end. Can you see that? And they are very simple little tools. This one is nickel silver, and I just love it. I love everything about it. I completely refurbed it, sharpened the blade, the whole works. It's probably 30, 40 years old, maybe even older, but it's as good as it was when it was new, and just a wonderful tool. And I think all of these little things, I think, are part of the experience of pipe smoking, and you know, it being a completely different experience to smoking cigarettes, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. I do like a lot of the videos and the posts that people put on the pipe smoking channels. I appreciate it. I think everyone's got their own kind of sort of style, and there's a lot of really nice things on there, and it's really interesting to watch. I just don't have a lot of time to watch a lot of those things, but I do appreciate those things. But yeah, in sort of response to Matches 860's video, where we would just mention that on that thread about what you light your pipes with: Swan matches, Zippo lighter, Bic lighter if it's the only thing around, and all the rest of it. Nice little tool like that, which I can scrape the bowl out with afterwards. It's got a tiny little spike on it as well for clearing the sort of the shank on the pipe and that. And again, I used to watch my dad doing this, and he would scrape his pipes and tap them out on the edge of the fireplace in the old house where we grew up, and then put them on a little pipe rack. And he must have had, I guess he must have had 7 or 8 pipes. He definitely liked the Petersons. I can't remember the style, but I remember the silver band and everything on them. He had quite a few of those. But you are going back to a time, mind you, when there were proper tobacconists, and I used to go to the tobacconists, and you know, I would go in, and I remember my dad and I used to watch a lot of Western films, and I think Clint Eastwood in a lot of his films smoked those very thin cigars, cigarillos or whatever they were. My dad used to call them cheroots. And I remember going into town one day with my mom, and we went into a tobacconist, probably the one that she used to go to get my dad. He had a mix, half swash, shag or whatever it was, I don't know, but he used to get a mix of tobacco in the days when you blended it. It was fantastic. But I remember noticing those cheroots for sale, and because my dad liked the spaghetti westerns and the cowboy films, I got my mum to buy some, and then we gave them to my dad, and I smoked one with him, and I was probably only I don't know, 12, 13, whatever. Terrible, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, just a few thoughts. So, tools of choice, weapons of pipe smoking. Lovely little knife. Maybe I'll do a feature on those in more detail. I want to do a video on Sheffield knives, which I'm working up to. Okay. So with that, and with the cat, he's found me again. I will leave you in peace. Have a good day. Okay.